and that will be it, stained up at the back and beautifully smooth for writing on. Yeah, that works. That trick works. Let's give that a thumbs up. Hi guys, it's Jamie here, and today we're going to be making some altered playing cards in a non-traditional way. I have a great little tip for the back of the cards. This is all using scraps. It's for my Dolce Vita journal. It uses my collage formula, but the new thing is I'm testing timestamps. In the description below, I'm going to try and break the video up for you into sections, which means that you can go to different areas of the video that may be of interest to you. Click on the blue timestamp and it will help you to skip forward. Now let's go back in time, as we're talking about time, to the very beginning of these. I'm going to show you a quick little something using scraps because I've just made this journal cover and I have leftover papers from making it. I have decided to do some matching type altered playing cards, and I thought I'd take you with me on the journey. So with the scraps, all I am going to do is initially probably use a glue stick for speed and stick them down on the front of the card, so you're not really going to be able to see that it's an altered playing card, which I think is normally the point and what I've used to do. But this time I thought I just want journal cards. I don't want to necessarily show off the fact it was a playing card. For some reason I love this chocolate brown one. That is actually going to leave a bit of the playing card showing. That's okay though. And now they're down, to make sure they stay down, I will probably use a collage medium. That's to seal it down and also hopefully catch any edges that haven't quite adhered to the card. I will do whatever I've got here, 6 of them, and come back when they're dry. These have dried and I've trimmed off the edges, but I haven't circled them yet because I will do that at the very end. Cornered them, I mean. The next thing I did with this was I used the white gesso to dry brush over the strips. So just very quickly get some, tone down that colour a little bit, not hugely, just a touch. You can see the difference between that one and that one. I'm using white gesso. You can use white acrylic, you can use leftover house painting paint, you could use watercolour if you do it nice and thick, a crayon, gelato, all sorts. Because you're dry brushing, which means you're not using much, these will dry incredibly quickly. The next stage, and anyone who's watched any of my videos will know I am in love with watercolour crayons. I got these from Amazon. They were absolutely the cheapest. I'm no artist, so I don't feel like I need the most expensive brand. So I'm pretty sure for the amount of colours in there, they were quite reasonable. I can't remember how much though, because it was a little while ago. One of my favourite colours is this one, because it gives that nice mustardy, vintagey colour. And it's what I did next on the journal cover. I will show you what I did on these. As you can see, this one is going to run out quick because it gets used a lot. Just went with the edge. If any of these papers lift, you can get some glue in them in a minute to push them down, because that often happens. Edges will lift up a bit. So having taken the colour out, people think this is a little bit of a madness, because now you're putting colour back in. Right, I will continue, get all of those done, and we will do the next stage. The next stage was to get some napkin down on the journal cover, and I actually cut round the flowers. First thing, get all the layers off the napkin. Some people do this using a glue stick to kind of pull up at the layer. That doesn't seem to work for me that well. This is a 3-ply, so that's ply 1, and then I can already see ply 2. going to initially cut a square out of here. I don't trust my tearing ability with napkins, and these are so pretty. I want to keep as much as possible. You do not have to buy this. This is my new favourite product, which is the Distress Collage Medium in Vintage, because it tones the stuff that you're using and it's sticky. However, you could use a Distress ink, you could use coffee to tone things. You can take a piece, pop it over. You don't have to cover the whole thing, you can just cover part of it. If you want to cover just part of it, take some water and a brush, and it will give you the ability to tear some of this off and brush the water on. If you're not worried about control, you just want that raggedy look, just tear at it. Once it's dry, just use your collage, which could be watered down, slightly watered down PVA glue, it could be glue stick, it could be collage medium, it could be this vintage collage medium, entirely up to you. Just sealing it down. You can even use hairspray to seal things down, by the way. It doesn't have to be a glue. And that will dry. And then we will come back when I've done all of them and do some finishing touches, changes, because we will have the base and we will know then what we want to do to give it that va-va-voom. I've decided that this colour doesn't give me enough of a difference to create the frame effect that I like to use on things. I've chosen a slightly darker colour, which I'm hoping will give me a reddish tone brown. See, now I prefer that to that. If that's not your look, then obviously stick with a non-border or just ink the border like you would anything else using a distress ink or whatever ink you tend to use for aging if you use one. May or may not use these figures to prepare them fully. Not only have they been cut out to fit the size of the card that they're going on, but on the reverse, something I do, which if you've watched previous videos you've seen, is to edge along the cuts with black, and this means that any white paper cuts will not show through on the correct side. It's very, very subtle. You can't really see it in comparison to that, but it does make a difference. It's worth the effort. I have a selection of bits and pieces here. A little bit of old book page, some 1950s women, some butterflies that I printed on sticker paper, some words, some of the strips that went into this, bigger parts of that page, and a little bit of coffee stained doily. Also have stamps and some extra words here should I want them. I am simply going to use my collage formula, which if you haven't seen I will run through, which is in 3, 5 or 7 pieces onto the front of these altered playing cards. I am just going to use Pritt Stick because I will be putting a final layer of the Distress Collage Medium, either the plain or the vintage, I haven't decided yet. Initially I will start with a 3. I've cut and inked these people to fit, and it's for me simply a question of a background piece with a 3, a main focal feature, and potentially a word, and that is a very simple, quite effective little collage. Obviously we want the be kind to show. These edges have been inked, she hasn't. I might actually, although I've inked the back, I think to make her stand out I am going to ink the front in black. If I wanted a stronger outline I would use the Stabilo, and I will do that on one of these just to show people who haven't watched my videos before, the Stabilo and how that works. Let's just pop these ones down. So you can see that is a really, really quick little collage to do. And if you're trying to make, or you're under time pressure because you've got a journal that needs finishing for whatever reason, like someone's birthday is coming up, you're going to sell it, it's a commission, this is a very quick way to mass produce without it feeling mass produced. So that's the first one done. Let's try something different in the background, say a bit of this. That looks quite nice. Have I got a woman that's looking this way? Yeah. So if you want to go to the left hand side, what you should be looking for is something facing into the card. So the reason she went on the right hand side is she's facing into the card, left hand side facing into the card. Another word or something else. How about, can we do a butterfly, or is that too much? Too much. We have a remember. Maybe need to go over her with that. Okay, so rather than outline her, I'm going to outline the word this time, because that's going to be the top piece. I'm going to pop that actually slightly higher up because I can see that join where I cut through to cut out some white, so I'm going to just cover it up. Pop that one to one side to dry. Let's see if we can get a 5 collage done, if that is possible or if these are too small. So for a 5 collage, I'm going to have a piece of the original paper. This one's quite nice. Boxy bit. I do have a bit of text, which I might put between the two. Now 5. Do a big butterfly and a word. What have we got here? Believe. Maybe a smaller butterfly. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, we'll go with that, but where that's a bit white in that centre, just take that off a little bit and think edge the butterfly with the black. Another one off to one side to dry. Maybe we should try a bit more of a modern look. We might rip it though. Right, we have that one, and then we have a big contrast one with this paper. Okay, that looks a little odd because of the cut off here, so I need to fix that somehow. That feels a bit better, but you still have this bit. Do we have a word? That already puts us at 5 pieces. I'm not happy with the placement of that love. Yeah, well, we'll go with it. We will go with it. Let's try doing one which we can actually Stabilo. Maybe that. I'm not convinced. That's 4 pieces, but it works for me, that one. So we're going to go with the 4, unless I can find a bit of book text. Oh, I do have a bit of Venice. That is actually quite nice. Do we want to put a woman there? I've left one of these as the original, in case you preferred the original before the collaging. I wanted to show you how to Stabilo on one of these, and I think the one I'm going to choose is going to be this butterfly here. I've topped all of these now with a top coat of Collage Medium. You could use PVA watered down with a little bit of water. You don't have to go out and buy a specialist medium. You can just use white school glue, the cheapest of the cheap. Normally I use a Q-tip cotton bud for this, but I've run out. Gonna have to see what happens if we just damp the nib a little bit and then use it. So the idea of the Stabilo is to create a stronger outline to something so that it pops a little bit more as a central focus point. I'm trying not to get this too wet because it is highly reactive to wetness, which is what you want, but you don't want it too thick. You can see how thickly that's going on. and then you can smudge it out if you prefer a smudgy look. So that is using a Stabilo as opposed to an ink pad around an element. Now what I think I want to do is, looking at how this is smudged, is just damp my finger a little, very hard to get the right amount of water, and grey up this area. I might actually pull it up and round as well. Now I've started. See, this is the thing, you have to be prepared to play. You have to be prepared that sometimes you may not like how it goes and you feel like you just wrecked everything you've just done. I quite like it. It may not be your taste, but I wanted to show you it. You see, I think that pops more than that one. So I may well outline a couple more. I had this idea a couple of days ago because I use sticker paper a lot, because I do a modern planner, that maybe, because I always struggle to back journaling cards in a way that they're smooth enough that you'd actually want to write on them, I thought maybe we should use sticker paper. And then pop that down on there, and then we can just trim it up. I'm debating whether to round these corners to make them more like playing cards again. I'm thinking it might be an R7, it might be too deep, that. Oh, it's going to be very tight. Oh, I like to go through just. Okay, that looks nice actually. Right, let's get a dark for this edge. For the other side, I'll probably use the vintage photo, but for this edge, I want a dark border to get some of that whiteness off this side. That's a vintage photo, or any brown that you like. If you want that vintagey look, just come in with a bit of ink, very lightly stain over the back, starting at the edges, working inwards, because that's how it would have been worn if it was genuinely old. And that would be it, stained up at the back and beautifully smooth for writing on. Yeah, that works. That trick works. Let's give that a thumbs up. I had a little finishing off session and here we go. This is what I've made with scraps to fit the Dolce Vita journal. Your scraps may be different, but you can still use the same techniques. I love the sticking paper at the back of the journaling cards. That is working a treat. I highly recommend that as a tip. It's just a quick walkthrough so you can see what's been made using the Collage Formula and various techniques. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help other people see this video and it's a free way you can support this channel and the content I produce. If you're not already, please consider subscribing. Again, it's another free way to support this channel, and YouTube loves a new subscriber and it pushes my content out even more. Let me know what you think of these altered playing cards, which are slightly non-traditional, in the comments below, and I will see you next time.